I am a junior executive and just had a baby. I am headed back to work and I am concerned that I will be overlooked for plum assignments and advancement. I am torn between hiding my personal life and being clear about boundaries. How should I approach?
Oh my goodness. Well, first off, congratulations on just having a baby. That is both joyous and hard. And I would say that really the best advice I got for coming back to work post maternity leave was from a man, Doug Merritt, what used to run our division at PeopleSoft. And he said to me, "You're going to be great. You're going to get a lot more organized. Don't worry about it. You've got it in you to make it happen." So that was such a powerful vote of confidence for me at the time. And I would tell you the same thing, that you will be great. It will be hard. You will need to come up with a different way to manage your own goals professionally with the changing needs for your life. And the other thing I would really encourage you is that I know everybody says it goes by really quickly. Actually, when they're little, it doesn't really go by really quickly. But I will say life is long and there's a lot of opportunities. So it is more than okay to decide that the right thing for you is to not put your hand up for plum assignments. And it's also good for if you feel like you can put your hand up. The key is that you do that based on what works for you and not feel pressure from outside, nor feel like you have to hide. I think you need to be having the conversation, and I'd encourage you to have it probably quarterly, but at least a couple times a year, to say, hey, this is how my life is shaping up. This is how I'm adjusting, and this is what I'm ready to take on or not take on. Because if you can have that conversation more transparently, you can then be open to shifting that conversation as things change for you in a way that gives you more agency and more power.
Yeah, and I think that conversation needs to start with yourself, right? So having that conversation with yourself of what do you really want to do and what do you really not want to do. So do start with those boundaries. Do be clear about those boundaries and your own expectations of what you want to take on. But then be really clear about that with your mentor, your boss, your sponsor. Have those conversations, and hopefully you have kind of a circle of trust of folks. I mean, I think that was certainly very helpful. Meg and I, both had babies around the same time. We both were advancing along the same path. We were supporting each other. We were giving each other power. We were, like having that, source of energy and power with others is really important. I mean, obviously that doesn't always happen easily, but hopefully, hopefully you have someone like that. I came back to work after having a baby, and I got, 2 promotions in a year, and I was, super gung ho. I was super fortunate to have a very, very supportive husband, and my, such that I could do that. If I didn't have that, I'm not sure, what that would have looked like. So it kind of depends on what your support system is, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Look at your support system, look at what, that can take on, look at what you can take on, and go from there.
It also depends a little bit about the baby itself, right? Is the baby healthy? Is the baby thriving? Is the baby needy? Is the baby keeping you up all night? Like these are things that people have a point of view, but it's very different for each situation. And so to Amy's point, having that conversation with yourself and being clear, and then just letting go of judgment, any judgment you'd have on yourself, and certainly anybody else's idea of what you should be doing more or less of. I strongly recommend early days of parenting, everybody wants to micromanage and tell you what to do, and it's
Including
really,
us. If you want some advice,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
even though it's been 20 years, we're there for you.
Totally, yeah. If you want to feel better about your job as a parent, let us know. We can tell you some bad stories.